Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist Viktor Frankl desperately searched for meaning in his life when he found himself in a Nazi concentration camp. He decided that finding meaning in the experience itself was the reason for him to go on living. His thoughts on how to answer the question, "Why am I here?" are found in his book, written during the years of his in the concentration camp, called Man's Search for Meaning. Christopher Reeve, the athletic daredevil of an actor who starred in Superman movies, found himself searching for meaning in 1995 when, at the age of 34, he became a quadriplegic as a result of a fall from a horse at a Virginia equestrian event. In his first book, After His Injury, Still Me, Reeve describes how he overcame the fear of living as a quadriplegic by deciding that though he was physically paralyzed, he was not paralyzed in any other way. In a commencement address given at a Williams College in 1995, Reeve advised graduates how to find meaning in their lives. Find what you love and do it. That's meaning for you personally. But find what you can do for others, and that's meaning for the whole planet. Reeve had found what he wanted to do for himself by the age of 15. He knew he wanted to be an actor, and he had achieved that goal and became wealthy and famous. But when he became a quadriplegic, he searched for a meaning that for his life and transcended his own personal desires. Though very spiritual, Reeve rejected organized religion as a source of meaning for his life after dabbling in several different faiths. He decided that his life as a quadriplegic would have the most value if he overcame his fear of paralysis and his fear of living as a quadriplegic by working to raise awareness of money and money for spinal cord research. He achieved that goal, raising tens of millions of dollars and crusading for research causes. In doing so, he was an inspiration not just to the millions of disabled people in the world, but to all of us. There are gender differences compared to men with women. Men have higher death rates for all 15 leading causes of death and die 6 years younger than women. Men represent 50% of the workforce, yet account for 94% of all on-the-job fatalities. Men know less about health and take less responsibility for it. Men are less likely to see themselves as ill or susceptible to disease or injury, when in fact they are more susceptible. For women, whether healthy or ill, women engage in far more health-promoting behaviors than men and have much healthier lifestyles. Compared with men, women have healthier diets, have lower blood pressure, and do more to control it, sleep more, and have larger social networks and more intimate and active social relationships. According to the Society for Women's Health Research, women who smoke are more likely to have a heart attack and develop cancer than men who smoke. Smoking puts a woman at a higher risk than a man for diabetes, high cholesterol, and stroke. Women also have a harder time quitting smoking than men. It is more common for women to be obese than men. Changes in hormones may play a role in excess weight gain for women. Women and men seem to experience pain in different ways. Women seem to report pain more often and have more persistent and severe pain than men do. Some studies have shown that women handle pain better than men and are able to use more coping strategies. Women are more likely to develop an autoimmune disease than men. This is because women may have enhanced immune systems compared to men, which increases women's resistance to many types of infection, but also make them more susceptible to autoimmune diseases. The Center for Advanced Health reports that more specific than an SES is the effect of lower educational levels on health. Mortality rates overall and for specific diseases, including heart disease and cancer, are higher in the U.S. for individuals with lower education or income status. Exceptions to this include death rates for breast cancer and external causes in women. The number of people who smoked cigarettes is the leading cause of preventable death, and death in the U.S. declined substantially between 74 and 95. But the rates of decline differed significantly for people with different levels of education. By 1995, people who had not completed high school were more than twice as likely to smoke than those with a college degree. Diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease are more common in individuals with lower levels of education. The prevalence of these diseases also varies by income, race, and gender. Mothers with fewer than 12 years of education are less likely to have received care in the first trimester of pregnancy than mothers with 16 or more years of education. Also, women with less than a high school diploma are almost 10 times more likely to smoke during their pregnancy. By the time we reach middle adulthood, we start to see changes in vision and hearing. Hearing loss is experienced by about 14% of midlife adults as a result of being exposed to high levels of noise. Men may experience some hearing loss by 30 and women by 50. High frequency sounds are the first affected by such hearing loss. The loss accumulates after years of being exposed to intense noise levels. Men are more likely to work in noisy occupations. Hearing loss is also exacerbated by cigarette smoking, high blood pressure, and stroke. Most hearing loss could be prevented by guarding against being exposed to extremely noisy environments. There's a new concern over hearing loss in early adulthood with the widespread use of headphones for iPods and other similar devices. With vision, we tend to see the need for bifocals to start at around age 40. And this is more commonly seen in individuals that have already used prescription glasses. Other than that, reading glasses may become necessary after the age of 40. Menopause for women refers to a period of transition in which a woman's ovaries stop releasing eggs and the level of estrogen and progesterone production decreases. After menopause, a woman's menstruation ceases. Changes typically occur between the mid-40s and 50s. The median age of a woman to have her last menstrual period is 50 to 52, but ages vary. A woman may first notice that her periods are more or less frequent than before. These changes in menstruation may last from 1 to 3 years. After a year without menstruation, a woman is considered menopausal and no longer capable of reproduction. Keep in mind that some women, however, may experience another period even after going a year without one. The loss of estrogen also affects vaginal lubrication, which diminishes and becomes watery. The vaginal wall also becomes thinner and less elastic. Menopause is not seen as universally distressing. Changes in hormone levels are associated with hot flashes and sweats in some women, but women vary in the extent to which they are experienced. Depression, irritability, and weight gain are not menopausal. Depression and mood swings are more common during menopause in women who have prior histories of these conditions, rather than those who do not. And the incidence of depression and mood swings is not greater among menopausal women than non-menopausal women. Cultural influences seem to play a role in the way menopause is experienced. Numerous international students enrolled in class have expressed their disbelief when discussing menopause. For example, after listing the symptoms of menopause, a woman from Kenya or Nigeria might respond, "We do not have this in my country," or if we do, it's not a big deal. To which some US students reply, "I want to go there." Indeed, there are cultural variations in the experience of menopausal symptoms. Hot flashes are experienced by 75% of women in Western culture, but by less than 20% of women in Japan. Women in the US respond differently to menopause depending upon the expectations they have for themselves and their lives. White career-oriented women, African American, and Mexican American women overall tend to think of menopause as a liberating experience. Nevertheless, there's been a popular tendency to attribute frustrations and irritations expressed by women of menopausal age to menopause, and thereby not taking concerns seriously. Fortunately, many practitioners in the US are normalizing rather than pathologizing menopause. Sexuality is an important part of people's lives at any age. Midlife adults tend to have sex lives that are very similar to that of younger adulthood, and many women feel freer and less inhibited sexually as they age. However, a woman may notice less vaginal lubrication during arousal, and men may experience changes in their erections from time to time. This is particularly true for men after age 65. Couples continue to enjoy physical intimacy and may engage in more foreplay, oral sex, or other forms of sexual expression rather than focusing as much on sexual intercourse. Risk of pregnancy continues until a woman has been without menstruation for at least 12 months. People continue to be at risk of contracting sexually transmitted infections such as genital herpes, chlamydia, and genital warts. And 10% of new cases of AIDS in the US are of people 50 and older. Practicing safe sex is important at any age. Hopefully, when partners understand how aging affects sexual expression, they'll be less likely to misinterpret these changes as a lack of sexual interest or displeasure in the partner and more able to continue to have satisfying, safe sexual relationships. Andropause for men. They do not lose their ability to reproduce as they age, although they do tend to produce lower levels of testosterone and fewer sperm. However, men are capable of reproduction throughout life. It is natural for sex drive to diminish slightly as men age, but a lack of sex drive may be a result of extremely low levels of testosterone. About 5 million men experience low levels of testosterone that results in symptoms such as a loss of interest in sex, loss of body hair, difficulty achieving or maintaining erection, loss of muscle mass and breast enlargement. Low testosterone levels may be due to glandular disease such as testicular cancer. Testosterone levels can be tested, and if they are low, men can be treated with testosterone replacement therapy. This can increase sex drive, muscle mass, and beard growth. However, long-term HRT for men can increase the risk of prostate cancer. Prior research on cognition and aging has been focused on comparing young and old adults and assuming that midlife adults fall somewhere in between, but some abilities may decrease while others improve during midlife. The concept of plasticity means that intelligence can be shaped by experience. Intelligence is influenced by cultural, social context, and personal choices as much as by heredity and age. In fact, there's new evidence that mental exercise or training can have lasting benefits from the National Institute of Health. We explore many of these midlife intelligences in research. Tacit knowledge increases with age. Tacit knowledge is pragmatic or practical and learned through experience rather than explicitly taught. It might be thought of as the know-how or professional instinct. It's referred to as tacit because it cannot be codified or written down. It does not involve academic knowledge, rather it involves being able to use skills and problem solve in practical ways. Tacit knowledge can be understood in the workplace and by blue-collar workers such as carpenters, chefs, and hairdressers. Verbal memory, spatial skills, inductive reasoning, and vocabulary increase with age. You may have heard that wisdom comes with age. However, wisdom may be more of a function of personality than cognition. Those who exhibit wisdom in midlife may have wiser choices at younger ages as well. The try that one more time. The mechanics of cognition, such as working memory and speed of processing, gradually decline with age, but can be easily compensated for using higher order cognitive skills, such as forming strategies to enhance memory or summarizing and comparing ideas, rather than relying on rote memorization. The declines mentioned may diminish as new generations equipped with higher levels of education begin to enter midlife. So you can see the different countries here and their beliefs in God. We tend to participate more in religious activities as we age. Part of this could be due to the time we have available as we get older, as our children get older and involved in different activities and are not as demanding of our time. It allows us to be participating in church-related activities, and the religion and belief in religion or spirituality, it tends to increase. Levinson characterized midlife as a time of developmental crisis. However, research suggests that most people in the US do not experience a midlife crisis, and in fact, many women find a midlife a freeing, satisfying period. Results of a 10-year study conducted by MacArthur Foundation Research Network on successful midlife development based on telephone interviews with over 3,000 midlife adults suggests that the years between 40 and 60 are marked by a sense of well-being. Only 23% of their participants reported experiencing a midlife crisis. The crisis tended to occur among the highly educated and was triggered by a major life event rather than out of fear of aging.